Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gayle Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. My guest today is Brindusa Vanta, MD. She graduated from the top medical school in Romania in 2001 with a wealth of knowledge and a strong belief that the use of prescription drugs is the only solution for overcoming diseases. When she moved to Canada, she was keen to get her MD license, and despite several obstacles, she successfully passed the tests required to apply for a Canadian license. While she was in a lengthy process for getting into the residency program in 2005, a personal event made her explore nutrition and alternative medicine. She then enrolled in an advanced program for physicians at the Ontario College of Homeopathic Medicine in Toronto. And in 2008, she got involved in medical research focused on natural therapies and shifted her focus from conventional medicine to alternative medicine. Welcome, Brindusa.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gill. Thank you for having me.
Well, you're a very interesting person. I had the chance to meet you in person, and I know you're very passionate about what you do. So if you were to answer the question, what are the key ingredients to a healthier, happier life, what would your answer be?
That's a very interesting question. And I changed the answer over the years. The more I learn, the more I understand health in a different way. And we really have to look at three levels of health. At this point in time, we cannot ignore the third one. But let's start with the physical health, because we really didn't understand our body up until 1990s. And I'm wondering if your listeners know that our body isn't just your body isn't just you, and more about 43% of your body is human. The remaining is not human. What do you think about this?
What is the remaining what is the remaining percentage?
Is made up of 100 trillions of tiny little creatures, microbes, that are friendly bacteria that live mostly in the gut, but they are making the remaining of our body. So we're basically 43% human, and the rest of us is made up of these little microbes.
Wow, that's kind of disconcerting. All these little creatures running around inside your body. Okay.
There is good news and bad news. The good news is if we understand these little friendly bacteria, what they like, then we can do that, and then they will take care of our health. Because here is the thing. These little microbes play key roles in our health. So, for example, we could not grow or develop without these little bugs. So, from the moment you're born, these friendly microbes we are going to acquire, and the babies will be able to digest the milk from their mom. Without these little microbes, we would not be able to feed ourselves. So they play a key role in digestion and nutrition. So without them, we could not break down certain foods, especially plants. They have a strong impact on our mood and behavior, and even how we interact socially with others. They help us protect against bad bacteria. So we have to be careful about this bad bacteria. So the good bacteria, our gut flora, helps us prevent infections and also cancer cells. So we can prevent cancer, we can prevent diabetes, we can prevent heart diseases, we can prevent depression, anxiety, and pretty much all diseases if we keep our gut flora in balance. So this is very interesting because up until 1990s, the gut flora was not recognized. And now we understand that we need a really good, healthy gut flora in order to be healthy.
Well, and now, what about aging? What about aging? How do you reverse aging?
Well, again, we can look at the gut flora because our gut flora goes through two major changes in our life. One is about around age 3 and the other one around age 70. So we can reverse aging by improving our gut flora and bringing more of those microbes that we have in during our as adults, early, like young adults. So we can do that.
Wow, it's amazing. So, I know that you're very, into all of the holistic practices. So, how do thoughts and emotions affect our physical health?
Well, this was a big surprise for me when I started to. That's a very good question. Was a big surprise for me because when I was in medical school, I knew very clearly if you have a physical problem, go see a doctor. If you have a mental emotional, go see a psychologist. So things are very straightforward. And when I started to learn and then practice natural medicine, I understood that the mind-body connection is key. It's very important. And talking about the root cause of diseases, a big root cause of diseases is mind-body disconnection. And now in the research world, there is this field called psychoneuroimmunology, where everything is connected, your mind and emotions with your nervous system and with your immune system. So,
well, I believe that. I mean, I really believe that. That's why I'm a very positive thinker. And even with what I'm going through now, because my cancer has returned, I still, I'm very positive about everything that I do, and I continue to work out, and I continue to do the things to keep myself healthy. And it is so difficult sometimes when you meet people who are not positive about things. And I think that negativity is one of the worst things in the world that people have to deal with because they don't seem to be able to come back from it. So I just think it's fantastic that, there is this connection. But, a lot of people talk about having a solid mindset when it comes to whatever, whether it's business or family or whatever. But how do you adopt a mindset? I mean, I'm just programmed that way, I think. But how do you adopt a mindset when you want to overcome something?
Yes, this is a very interesting question again, because many people, you go to Tony Robbins, right? You go to a self-improvement seminar and you learn about the importance of mindset if you want to grow your business. But nobody really talks about the mindset of those who can overcome diseases unless you look into research studies, which I did, because I do a lot of research on multiple sclerosis. And I've learned that there, let's say, two person with the same, let's say, disability and symptoms, they will have different results. One will be able to reverse the symptoms and get back to health. And for example, Dr. Terry Walsh is very well known about that. And there are going to be people who will spend the rest of their life in the wheelchair. So there was a study from, I think, Norway, if I remember correctly, and they look at the mindset of those who really can overcome diseases. And I've seen kind of the same traits in studies conducted in people with cancer. And the most important thing to do is to shift your mindset from being a passive patient who's taking pills and is not asking anything to very active, to taking a proactive role in your health. So this major shift is helping you reverse symptoms. And another important step was using natural medicine, alternative medicine, whether it's nutrition or acupuncture or anything else. And natural medicine, by definition, will acknowledge this mind-body connection. So when you get a natural treatment, the doctor or the practitioner is going to focus on both.
Well, don't you think that somebody has to really, really believe in all of this to make it work as well? Because, there are people who say, oh, I believe in this or I do this, but they don't really deeply believe in what mindset can do for you and positive thinking. And I'm a devotee of all of this. So
I read your book, and absolutely, yes. Yes, I can see that. And here is coming the third level of health that I was talking about. And when you get to access this form of health, this is when you really believe. And I'm talking about spiritual health. Okay. And even the World Health Organization, which is it's very conservative, now is considering to add spiritual health as as part of the definition of true health, because it simply cannot be ignored. There are hundreds of studies. I read a review which included about 800 studies about the influence of spirituality or religion to the impact to our health. And many people would say, okay, I'm not religious, I'm not spiritual. How can I access this? And I found out that we all have an SQ. Just the same we have an IQ or an EQ, we also have an SQ, which reflects our spiritual intelligence. And it basically has 12 principles or characteristics. So, are you self aware? If you are self aware, this is a trait of being um, spiritually intelligent. And you talk about this when you talk about what's tip number 1 in your book, understanding yourself. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So being self-aware is a sign of being spiritually intelligent, and therefore you can access this deepest level spiritual health. Number 2, are you spontaneous? If you're spontaneous, if you live life and you're responsive in the moment, okay, in other words, regret-free, like you advise, you are in touch with your spiritual health and your spiritual side. If your actions are led by visions or values, if you really have deep values and you follow them, this again is a sign of spiritual intelligence and being spiritually healthy. If you have holistic views and you can see larger patterns, relationships, connection, again, this is another trait of spiritual health. If you have compassion, if you have empathy, if you learn how to forgive and how to let go past traumas, again, that's a good sign you are in touch with your spiritual health. If you have something called, better, this term, a field independence is used in psychology. So if you can stand against the crowd and have your own conviction and your beliefs and you take responsibility for them, again, this is a sign of being spiritually healthy.
Well, I think,
yeah.
That there are people who I think there are definitely people who believe this, and I think there are people who practice this. But I also think there are people that are just not sure about it. So when you deal with someone who is not really clear on, do I really believe in this spirituality stuff? Do I really believe in the woo-woo? Do I really, can these things really shape your life and your future? What do you say? Well, how do you get to them? How do you get across to them?
It's a very good question because not everybody is open to talk about spirituality and their spiritual side. Although we have now research proving that it works and you have a lot more benefits and even you live longer if you practice spirituality. So what I do, I think the most important is to connect the mind and body, because if you restore this connection, you are healthy and you can go deeper inside to find the inner self, your true self, the spiritual part of you. So the best thing to do is get in touch, reconnect the mind and body. And you can do this in several ways. You can look at the diet, because when you have clean diet, your mind and your brain is going to work better. And talking about these little bugs, the gut flora that is keeping us healthy, we have to pay attention on three things in our diet besides, having a clean diet. The 3P. One is probiotic, two, prebiotics, which are fibers that feed the good bacteria, and three, polyphenols, which are plant compounds. So if you eat a variety of fresh vegetables and fruits, and you eat clean, and you have some probiotic rich foods like fermented vegetables, you are going to help those little bugs in the gut to stay healthy. So we can look at the diet. We can look at exercise. Exercise is an amazing way to reset your mind. And you can boost your IQ, your EQ, even your spiritual side, because you are really connecting yourself when you exercise. Exercise is not just for the body, it's for the mind too.
That's interesting because, it's so funny. Yesterday I went over to the Eisenhower Medical Center because, I plan on moving to California, and so I wanted to see what their services were here. And I don't know what they were talking about. I said, yeah, I did a power sculpting class this morning. And she said, exercise is the best thing. And I said, I did a body pump class the other day. And she said, what is body pump? And I kind of showed her some of the food. She couldn't believe it. And I said, to me, this is everything. So I really believe that exercise is what keeps you going and keeps you strong. And I really believe that it's important. So interesting.
It makes your body stronger and your mind. It builds mental resilience. And I love body pump. We have here Les Mills classes too, and I take them too, and I love it. And talking about body pump, did you notice that the older we get, the harder we work?
For me now, I'm working with lower weights because when I had a terrible reaction, to chemo, I just couldn't do anything for so long. But I'm going to get back slowly and surely. That's the important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so diet, exercise, and yes, body pump is great. And they also have body flow, yoga. Did you try the other classes? There are a lot of good classes from Les Mills.
I have to tell you, I am not a yoga person. It's just a little it's too quiet for me. And also, with all the surgeries I've had 16 surgeries, my body just will not move the way you need to move in yoga. So I do my stretching by myself, and I do stretch and so forth. But I'm just not a yoga person. I like Pilates, but I'm not, I'm not a yoga person. So I've got to confess that.
That's good. It doesn't matter. Any exercise is better than no exercise. This is what I say. So whatever you like, choose that one. And okay, let's talk about cancer, because I was talking the other day with somebody with late stage pancreatic cancer and was asking for advice. What can you do? Because in conventional medicine, you really have no choices, and surgery is not an option anymore. What can you do if you have a late stage cancer? And yes, diet is important, exercise, keeping your mind as positive as possible. again, is very important. But I would also look into New German medicine because, as far as I know, that's the most, it's got the highest success rate. Dr. Hammer.
What is that?
It's called New German New Medicine, Dr. Hammer.
Oh,
So
I don't know that.
it's focused on a lot on the mental aspect and on past traumas. And I have an experience. One of my colleagues from medical school, she had a late stage cancer, colon cancer. She was pregnant. She couldn't have any surgery. And then she had again another form of cancer. I think it was a leukemia a few years later. And she used this form of medicine, Dr. Hammer medicine, to treat it.
Wow.
Uh,
I've never even heard of it.
Dr. Hammer had 40,000 cases in his hospital in Germany. I know it's very controversial because it's focused a lot on mental, but here is the thing: the mind is very connected with your immune system. So basically, every time you have a negative emotion, you are sending signals to your immune system. And the immune system, what is the immune system doing? It's fighting cancer cells. It doesn't allow them to grow. And is also fighting bad bacteria and helps prevents infection. So every time, like you're saying, the mindset is very important. And now we have evidence that um, negative feelings create inflammation and create a response, a negative response from the immune system.
Well, I'll tell you, you are just a wealth of information, Brindusa. So I want to tell our listeners, how can they reach you? I don't know if you have a special gift for them.
Yes.
Just tell our listeners where to find you and so forth.
Okay, so my website is drvanta.com, so drvanta.com. And I have a special gift. If you check my website, you will have access to my best tips to reverse aging, brain aging.
Well, that's good. I know everybody kind of is interested in that. That's for sure.
Yeah, and reverse aging too. And, talking about gut flora, this is just one little thing. There is a lot more to optimize brain health. And again, since you mentioned cancer, I would also look into ozone therapy and intravenous vitamin C and naturopathic treatments because I worked, 13 years ago in a naturopathic clinic focused on cancer treatments, and I've seen it working.
Wow, amazing.
If you have listeners who are interested in this, yes, totally. Diet, nutrition, I can help with diet and supplements, but there is more than you can do. And definitely look into psychotherapy, anything that helps improve your mindset. The best thing to do, is do not lose hope. And you have amazing advices in your book that I have it right here on my desk. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Exactly what to do. You know exactly what to do, Dr. Carson. What can I say? It's amazing.
Wow. Well, we have really enjoyed this. I'm going to call you Dr. Brindusa because I want people to really sink in that you've got all this training behind you. You're not just coming up with this stuff, from nowhere. So I think it's fabulous. I just think it's great. And I just don't know if people really understand how important all of this is. I mean, it's just so big a part of healing and who you are in the future and all of that. So if you are really interested in learning more of what Dr. Brindusa Vanta has to say, go to her website, drvanta.com, drvanta.com. She's got a wealth of information there. You're going to learn a lot about what, who, how, and so forth. She has that wonderful gift for you. And, it's time, if things aren't working for you, it's time to look at something else and make sure that it works for you. And go from there. So is there anything else that you'd like to tell our audience? We've got about 30 seconds left, Doctor.
Well, I want to thank you and I want to thank them for listening. And yes, when it comes to health, you really have to look at all three, so physical, mental, and spiritual, if you really want to reverse diseases at a deeper level and possibly, not allowing them to come back. Because it's mind-body connection is very important, but really the spiritual part, that one makes the difference.
It really does. It really does. And remember, folks, spirituality comes in all different shapes and sizes for everybody. It doesn't mean religion. It doesn't mean thinking a particular way. It's your own definition of spirituality that's important for you. So just remember that. Thank you so much for being with. We look forward to everybody finding out what you have to offer for them. So thank you so much for being with us today. Hi, this is Dr. Gayle, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.